Hello, you guys, and thank you for choosing to join me today here on Life Enchanted. I think it's been a couple of weeks since we actually had a one-on-one session. I was out of town for a little bit, and then the next week I had a couple of things that were going on, but we are back, and I'm so excited to be able to join you guys today. And I have a lot to share. Oh my goodness! So I may end up doing two segments this week or something like that to try to catch up on all the things that has been happening and things I want to share. But today I want to talk about the concept of surrender or the surrendering act. I think that has been on my mind for like the last 2.5 weeks, and it seems like in many devotions and things like that that I'm reading, that always seem to be the underlining factor of wisdom that is being layered there. So I want to talk to you guys about a concept. One of the things that I was reviewing this past couple of weeks was talking about the act of control and being able to surrender certain components in your life. And so when I initially thought about the concept of surrender, my mind is very vivid. And so I often picture things or take elements and put them into picture form that helps me to connect in different ways. And so initially, when I heard the concept of surrender, the first image that came into my mind was that of the pirates. I don't know if any of you guys should study on any type of history about the pirates that were indeed very active in our areas. But whenever they came upon an opposing ship, of course they had their battling components that happened, and so they wanted to, in order for one to say like, hey, we give up, we don't want you to necessarily come up here and start any ruckus and things like that, we are going to surrender. But in order for them to do that, they had to wave a white flag. The white flag, of course, was an act of surrender. It was saying like, hey, we give up, or hey, we're going to join your team. Don't come up here busting up our ship and things like that. This is all we have. This is our livelihood. We rather be able to get some with you than opposed to not getting anything at all. And so they will raise up that particular flag up their flagpole, so the opposing candidates would know like, okay, they're giving up, right? And so that is my mindset. That's what I always hear or see whenever someone talks about the act of surrendering. And I'm just like, I don't necessarily like that concept because it's almost like you're giving in your control, right? Like you're giving up something of yourself and saying like, okay, I'm giving it willingly to someone else. And so, to be honest, that is actually the process. But when you are in a connection with someone in whom you have a genuine connection with, you are more inclined to surrender your thoughts or your wills and desires to that person because you know that they have your best interests at heart, that they're actually going to take what you have and actually make it a lot better than that in which you are currently functioning in. Like you could feel like you're floundering right about now, but by surrendering to that individual, they're enabling you to see a different way. And so when I thought about that for a moment, I feel that that is also how God is speaking to us in many areas of our lives. He's like, in the Bible, it says in Matthew 11:28, I believe it says that, come to me, all of you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And what that meant is that if you come to me, then I will give you an opportunity to rest from all of that floundering that you've been doing. You know, you've been trying to do this over here to make sure it function well, and you've been trying to do this over here, but you're still getting like the short end of the stick. But if you come to me, I will be more than willing to help you to be able to carry out what it is that you're desiring to do, but do it at a whole new level. And so I wanted to share that with you guys that, you know, sometimes, especially now when we're in a period where things have flipped in so many different ways for us, some in a good way, some in an uncertain way, some in areas that we believe are certain, but you still have that area of concern in your life. It's not necessarily fear, but you just have concerns of how it's going to pan out. And God is like, I don't want you to have to worry about those things. If you just come to me, I promise you, I will ensure that these things will pan out well for you. But in order for me to do it, you have to surrender it. You can't hold on to it and then expect me to actually pry open your hands to try to get it from you. He's a gentleman, and everyone knows that a gentleman will actually ask you or give you the opportunity to surrender over, that allows you to be able to give them the permission to carry out what it is they want to do. So I just want to encourage you guys to be willing to surrender your overall will, your wants, your desire, your concerns, your questions to God, because when you do, then He is more than willing to take what we have and to make it oh so much better, and to put us in a better position and situation that we currently are in when we're willing to surrender it over to Him. Okay, so I thank you guys so much for joining me on this segment. I hope you are having a super awesome day. Today is really great outside. I'm just getting back in from one of my walks and it feels wonderful. I mean, it's so beautiful to see the trees transferring over to, during this season and things like that. So go out and enjoy yourself today. Have a moment of serenity where you could just, that would be a great opportunity to go out and to see the greatness that our nature has to offer, and that could be your act of surrendering over to, because during that process of changing, you too are changing garbs or control so that He can take it and go forth in great things for you. So thank y'all so much. I ask that you will like, subscribe, and share. And of course, I always say that if you're going to do anything, at least share it, because these nuggets of wisdoms are things that we can put in our arsenal for later, and or we can give it to someone else that can enable them to use it now presently in their lives and enable them to be exceptionally great. All right, so you guys have a great one. I'll be talking to you soon.